What is your name?
My name is Tatianna Stanislaw.
How old are you?
I am 19 years old.
Are you a student right now?
Yes.
Where?
I am a student at Del Mar College.
Are you currently employed?
I am not currently employed.
Where are you originally from?
I am originally from the Philippines.
Are you the first generation here?
Yes, I am first generation Filipino American here, yes.
When did you first move here?
I moved here in America year of 2006.
Do you remember why you moved here?
The reason that my family and I moved here was because my parents wanted a better life, not only for themselves, but also for their children.
Were they looking for maybe a job or?
My mom actually got moved here. She had places to choose where she wanted to move to when we were in the Philippines, and at first she chose Oklahoma, so that's where we resided for a couple months before we got moved again here to Corpus Christi, Texas.
Was she working in the medical field at the time or?
Yes, my mom was currently a nurse in the Philippines, and she still is a nurse today.
What were your first impressions of Corpus?
My first impression of Corpus was that it reminded me to home in the Philippines. Because it was hot and it's close to the water, so Corpus Christi really reminded me of home. So it was very comforting.
What was it like moving here?
Moving in America?
Yeah.
When I was in the Philippines and my parents told me that we were moving into America, I got really excited because the first thing that I thought of, being someone from the islands, and very tropical, very hot, was that America was very cold. There was snow, but I didn't know that, there was a southern region of America. But so in my head, I was thinking that if we move to America, I'm going to see snow. I'm going to wear jackets, like the thick jackets you'd see in the movies. But no. So my version of America was New York, not really Corpus Christi, Texas.
So what were your first impressions of Corpus?
My first impression of Corpus, other than the fact that it was hot, very small. Even when I lived in the Philippines, I lived in more of the bigger cities. When I was back there, here it's very small, very. I don't want to say lazy, but very slow paced. Like you go with the flow, so it's very calming. It's very soothing.
Did you have dreams when you got here?
My dreams when I moved to Corpus Christi was after middle school, after living in Corpus for quite a while. My dream was to get out of Corpus. Yeah.
So in the time that you lived here, what is the coolest part about Corpus?
The coolest part about Corpus, I gotta say the water. Since it reminds me so much of the Philippines, of home, I don't know, there's something calming about like going to the beach. So that was always fun because every summer, even now, we plan a day where we go on the beach, just have fun, just to chill, So yeah.
Going past that, what was it like trying to get used to life here?
Trying to get used to people who are not like you was very interesting because when I first moved here, when I first went to school, which was back in Oklahoma, just in general America, the language barrier always the language barrier caught up to me because I didn't know how to speak English. I only knew one language, which was my native tongue. And so it was kind of hard getting accustomed to people who not only don't look like you, but don't speak the same language as you. So it was something that I had to get used to. I remember the first day of school when back in Oklahoma, the very first day of school, nobody really treated me as if they were, I was like, I don't want to say equal to them, but nobody treated me, I was treated as a foreigner, which is okay, I understand, but it was really different not speaking the same language. So yeah, did I answer the question? Sorry.
Was it hard trying to learn the school subjects?
Um, when it comes to school, as somebody who came back, just no. Uh, what's the question again? Sorry.
Was it hard trying to learn the subjects in school?
Yes and no. So yes, it was hard because it wasn't in my original language. It was it was easy because after I got the hang of everything, it was just kind of this blur almost, as if I got used to everything and everything was fine. So yeah, there was pros and cons to knowing a whole different language other than English.
So, what are these pros and cons?
I guess the pros to knowing a different language is knowing the fact that you now become bilingual, which is really good psychologically speaking. That's very good for your mental health. Um, and not only do you get to practice the language, but it's like this mix of culture that you get to experience, not only with the people like your parents, but also the people around you, and not only your fellow Filipinos that you meet in Corpus Christi, but also like to the other different ethnicities that you meet. So it's very worthwhile knowing both sides. As for the cons, it's very tiny because it's the hardest part is learning the new language, getting accustomed to your new surroundings, especially if you're a child, new in the States. But other than that tiny, very minuscule con, everything else is great.
So, what has been the hardest thing to adjust to?
The hardest thing to adjust to here in Corpus Christi or here in America?
Here in Corpus.
Here in Corpus. Oh man, I don't think there was anything too hard for me to adjust to, just because people in Corpus were very welcoming, they were very what's the word I'm looking for? Hospitable. So they were very nice. So nothing really, when I moved here, nothing really gave me a hard time adjusting.
Did you ever take part in events in Corpus like Buck Days or the Selena Parade?
I did not take part of the Selena Parade only because I was busy that day, unfortunately. But in Buck Days, I don't know if you call this participation, but I went with my friends. It was a plan. And Buck Days is, I know it's a tradition in Corpus, so my friends and I try to plan to go every year just for the sake of it and just for the fun of it, really.
So would you say like you're building traditions here in Corpus?
Yes.
In the time that you have lived here, what has been the biggest change in Corpus Christi?
The biggest change in Corpus Christi. When I first moved here, back, I believe, in 2007, Corpus was very, very small. It was more just empty fields and lands. Even when our house was first built, it was just lots of land. There was not really a building from where my house is now. But over time, over the decade that has passed, for sure, I feel like Corpus has grown more city-wise. I feel like more people have gathered to Corpus.
How has the city grown in diversity and population?
When I first moved here in Corpus, there was, to me, in my eyes, there was more of Mexican Americans, which is understandable, knowing that we live closer to the south. But as I continue to live here, I've seen a growth in Asian popularity, because I remember when I first moved here, I didn't really see many Asians, just a general diversity of Asians, not even just Filipinos. So over time, I've seen a lot of things grown up. I've seen not only a Filipino population rise, but also of other ethnicities. I've seen throughout my time here in Corpus, and the friends and the people I've met, I've seen a lot more Vietnamese Americans here, specifically in Corpus Christi, which was to me, which was something different because I didn't. It was a whole new culture being born in Corpus Christi per se.
What does immigration mean to you?
Immigration to me means to start something new. Since you are not familiar at all with the place you are in, you're an immigrant. It's a process for sure. And if you are an immigrant as a child growing up here in Corpus Christi, it's also a different experience. But it, for me, it helps me grow. It helped me grow as a person for sure, because with all the different ethnicities and different cultures that I've experienced here in Corpus, it helped me become the person who I am now. As cliche as that sounds, but it really did. So immigration to me is a very big factor in my life, because if I wasn't an immigrant, I don't think I'd be the same person at all whatsoever.
Do you think immigration offers new opportunities, bigger opportunities?
Yes, I believe immigration does in fact give bigger opportunities, because to me it did, or it still does. I believe if I were to stay in the Philippines, I wouldn't have the same opportunities as I would have here in America. Because schooling in the Philippines then, because I'm not sure about now then, was very different to the schooling system here in America. So it was a lot more, I want to say restricted, a lot more harder for sure, because they were very selective. Here, there's a little bit more leniency, but it's still enough where, schools would get only those who are qualified. But yes, I lost the question, I'm sorry.
How has it impacted you in terms of what you're pursuing in your future career?
It has immigration truly has opened a lot of doors for me, because it's just in general the whole thought of America is the land of the free, and that's really something that growing up found out that you should not take for granted for, because there are so many doors that have opened for me just as a college student alone here in the city of Corpus Christi. So many opportunities has opened, and I don't think if I was still back in the Philippines, I don't think the same doors would have opened for me. So immigration did play a big impact on opportunities in my life.
What's been your biggest accomplishment since you've lived in Corpus?
My biggest accomplishment my biggest accomplishment here living in Corpus is meeting new people. That has always been my thing growing up. I love to meet new people, love to meet everyone. And I love knowing the fact that each experience is always different. It's not the same. And being able to see many cultures to me is an accomplishment. And I guess another thing was to, again, as cliche as it sounds, is to graduate high school, which was always, growing up, that was the dream of my teenager. So that was one of my biggest accomplishments here in Corpus.
Do you have any advice for any Filipinos who might want to migrate to Corpus Christi?
My advice to others who want to move to Corpus Christi, just enjoy yourself. It's a city that is the quote, you go with the flow. It's a very nice, soothing city, and there's not really an advice other than just follow what you came here to do. And the best thing about it is that you won't feel left out, because there's always a community ready to reach out for you, or to help to help you out along your journey as you're living here. So you won't ever feel left out whatsoever because everybody is always welcoming and hospitable. So that's I guess in a way my advice for them.
Finally, in the next 15 years, maybe to 20 years, what changes do you want to see in Corpus Christi?
Changes in the far future, or maybe near, I would like to see Corpus Christi expand as a city. I've always loved the thought of bigger city lives. But I don't know, it might happen, it might not, because you can't have, best of both worlds sometimes. But it'd be nice to see a booming economy such as Corpus Christi grow into a really great city, maybe like Houston, but without the traffic as much. But at the same time, still have that home comfort feeling like in the future, which is hopefully I'll see it because I don't think I'll be living here anymore 15, 20 years from now. So that'll be really cool if I do visit.
Thank you.
Like Corpus has grown more city-wise, I feel like more people have gathered to Corpus, and so making